swear.
I cried my own crying face. That's why I put it in. What are we talking about, Jess? What are we talking about?
We're going to talk about Lexa. You don't think you can do it?
That's pretty tissues.
No. We want to talk about the character of Lexa. The character of Lexa really struck a chord with fans all over the world. And I wanted to ask you guys, as creators, in your own words, why she resonated with each of you.
Yes, always the mouthy one. I think it's the same probably for all of us, because she was unique in that there was sort of the triumvirate of awesome. So there was strength, you know, there was honor, there was beauty, there was poise. I mean, so that's way more than 3, but she was just, and just loyal, honorable, steadfast, you know, consistent, and in love with, you know, another woman, and just really honest about that. So yeah.
I think what intrigued me the most about her is that she was flawed, and that was where her character showed the most, is when she was faced with the tough decisions. And she was so wise and well-rounded. All the things that Alexia said were the things that spoke to me about Lexa.
Well, I think for me, mostly, you can't see a character. You can often see a character who reaches out to you in a personal level. I mean, there are a lot of representations there. Yes, that's true. But you don't feel like it's reaching out to you on a personal level. For me, Lexa did that. She inspired me to do a lot of things, a lot of art for the community.
That's a good answer.
Thank you. You're very patronizing.
It was from the heart. Anyway, yeah, Lexa to me, I think she was such a strong character. She had to be so strong. And I think that relates to us as being women in general in this society. But on the inside, you know, she's like the soft 20 there. So I really admire that she had to put on sort of this front and be that person, their leader. But at the same time, you know, she was still soft. So I like that.
See, that's a better answer.
Now we have to follow in front of you, like, that's fine. For me, I think it was the same. It was about her having flaws and having to make some impossible decisions. And it's the kind of thing where, like, when I try and think of someone who can inspire me in that way, when I do have to make a really tough decision, or not that I've ever had to, you know, murder someone or stab them or whatever, but if I had to, I can draw on that, right? So and I don't know, she's really hot.
She's just a little.
I'm just here to keep you guys in line. Thank you, everybody. So we're all here today in the 1-year anniversary of March 3rd, 2016. Lexa was killed on screen in an episode that really sent shockwaves not only through our fandom, but provoked a response in mainstream media and in the LGBTQ community as a whole. So I wanted to ask again, and we'll go down the road a different way, on the spot. What was that like for you? What was that experience like for you? And what made this experience of watching that on screen different from other queer character deaths? Because they're not uncommon. They weren't before and they weren't after, but this one was really special and really had an impact on our community.
Sure. I think for me, it was probably the first one that I experienced sort of firsthand. You know, I've seen a lot of them and I would see them after. I live in Australia, we don't get shows. So this is the first one I watched live, for starters. And it was, yeah, it had a huge impact, especially, I was at work when I watched it. And I was like, it was my lunch break. It was my lunch break, and we have a screening room, so I was in this like theatre on Skype with my friends while we were watching it. We got to that scene and we were just all like, no, I mean, it can't have. And I had to go back to work for another 3 hours, and I was just like, and I was just watching the Twitter feed, and I think it was a little bit of having Twitter be such a big medium now, and a big medium in this community and in this fandom as well, and just like watching it play out and watching people's like heartbreak in real time. And I can't just like let this go. You know, I've let it go before, but yeah, this was the time we had to do something about it. We did.
Yeah. I think you made a really good point about how just because of how big social media is, everyone can connect, everyone can see it, and it's like the reactions. And I guess my reaction to 307 is on YouTube.
I've seen it.
I
almost put it in the video, but I would have got murdered.
No. Yeah, I think it just touched everyone in the same way, and everyone was looking for support after the episode, so everyone flocked.
Just say that.
Flocked. Everyone flocked to social media just to like reach out and see who else is there, who else is feeling the same thing. And I think all of us experienced this like communal grieving together, and I think that's what brought fandom to how close we all are.
We all look where we are.
Exactly. Like I think this is
half of my friends are from.
This is a result of that episode. Like we made this because of how much we all needed each other. So it's kind of amazing and unbelievable. Yeah.
Don't tell my boss. I was at work that time. I was actually drawing something for work, and half listening and half watching at the same time. So I had to stop and like just do that. And my boss was like, "Are you okay?" I think I have a cold. And then I had to go to the bathroom for 5 minutes just to cry it out. And then hold it in for another 6 hours until I get home and just let it all out. So for me, ever since I've been creating art for the fandom, it was a huge loss because the inspiration was lost, the entire, I don't know, it's like losing a friend. I've been saying this over and over. It's like losing a friend for me.
Can you repeat the question again?
Make people cry.
Well, reaction after 307.
So I have a little bit of a different perspective because I am an older fan and I've lived through many fandoms where this has happened, so I was sort of desensitized to it. And we didn't have social media back then. Like, I was a big Willow and Taro fan, and the 20th anniversary just celebrated, and there wasn't that communal grieving that you just mentioned. So we all just kind of did it on our own. But when this happened, I actually got spoiled on Tumblr because I was stupid and went online prior. And a funny story, I actually binged the whole show right up to 307. So I was great. I was like, oh, okay, I'm caught up with everybody. I'm going to enjoy this moment. And then that happened. So,
Do you enjoy it?
not anymore. But it was interesting to see the reaction and see how everybody collectively came together and was this driving force. And I hadn't seen that before. And because everybody was online, because everybody was able to come together, meet each other, talk about it, and create this dialogue, it was just amazing to me because that's not where my background in fandom comes from, being an older fan. So seeing how you guys organized and made something of it and made it meaningful really, really inspired me. So, yeah.
So I have never been involved in a fandom, so this was my debut, my coming out in fandom. And how I found the whole Lexa story was I was doing what all good lesbians do. I was Googling hot lesbians on Twitter. So similar to Fumatic, where I sort of started back, because I actually watched live the first season, and by the 4th episode, I was like, this is such a shitty show. So then I went away for a year and a half or whatever, and then I was hot lesbian, and then I found it. was like, season 2, you know, the kiss, and I was like, holy fuck! So the original inspiration was the fucking chemistry that Eliza and Alicia had. Can we just like So now I'm gonna make everybody really fucking depressed because so I knew, again, I'm not on Tumblr because it's fucking hard. I mean, with all the UI is ridiculous. I don't know how you do it. Anyway, so Twitter.
Sorry.
So, what?
Little Lexa just entered the building.
Chegou lá,
I can't swear now. This is unbelievable.
What's your name?
You wanna come sit?
What's your name?
She's in character.
Thank you, Little Lexa.
Thank you so much. That's Lexa's legacy right there, y'all. So I'm doing my due diligence on Twitter, and I knew it was coming because everybody had seen it. I think because I'm not watching live, I'm doing the streaming thing after the fact. So I knew it was coming, and I have the ability to like hear about stuff being spoiled and still feel the same, you know, to like do it. Wow, I'm babbling. Still experience it as if for the first time. So I knew she was going to die. Didn't know how. Didn't know what. And I went into. I had my car like blew up, and I had to take it into the mechanic on the day that I was going to watch. And I was like, fuck, and I was literally like, just shaking. I was having a panic attack. I was having a full-on anxiety experience where, you know, like the Charlie Brown teachers, like that's what I was hearing all day long. And I'm sitting in my mechanic's office going, this is unbelievable. And what was happening was, it was the exact same feeling and experience in my body that I felt when my mother died. So I knew this was, number one, it was real, and number two, it was very, very bad. So when people tell us it's just a fictional character, total bullshit.
Yes.
Like, don't worry.
Answer your question.
Do I have more questions? I do have more questions. And I would like to, yeah, I know, we gotta fill some time. I would like to shout out to our great research and stats team behind LGBTFans Deserve Better, and we're going to be using them all weekend long on all of the very many panels that they've plucked us on, including one right after this. I'm going to dash and go hang out in another room, and we're gonna hand it over to you. So we have a great team there. We have a brand new website. We have all kinds of